Niola was a strong, beautiful young woman from a small village in East Africa. She was raised by her grandmother, who taught her the value of family, respect, and perseverance. When she married Juma, a man from a neighboring village, she hoped to bring these values into her new home. Juma was a kind man, and his family was known to be respected in the community. Nola entered her new home with hope and determination to make it her own. Nola was warmly welcomed into Juma's family. His mother, Mama Zoe, initially showed her kindness, teaching her the ways of their household and introducing her to the community. Nola felt embraced by her new family and began to settle into her role as a wife and daughter-in-law. She was eager to prove herself and win their approval. As the days turned into weeks, Nola noticed a shift in Mama Zoe's behavior. The kind words became fewer, and the expectations grew heavier. Nola was expected to wake up before dawn, fetch water, prepare meals, and tend to the farm, all while maintaining a respectful demeanor. No matter how hard she worked, Mama Zoe's approval seemed to slip further away. Mama Zoe's demands became more unreasonable. She constantly criticized Nola for not doing enough, comparing her unfavorably to other women in the village. Nola's every move was scrutinized, and any mistake was met with harsh words. Juma, busy with his work, remained unaware of the extent of his mother's treatment of Nola. Nola, wanting to be a dutiful wife, kept her suffering to herself. Nola's interactions with her own family and friends became restricted. Mama Zoe disapproved of her visiting her home village too often, claiming it distracted her from her duties. Nola felt increasingly isolated, trapped within the walls of her new home. The vibrant, strong woman she once was began to fade, replaced by a shadow of her former self. One day, Nola accidentally let a pot of food burn while attending to another task. Mama Zoe's fury was unrestrained. She berated Nola loudly, accusing her of being lazy and disrespectful. Juma walked in during the outburst, and for the first time, he witnessed the harshness of his mother's words. He tried to calm her down, but Mama Zoe dismissed him, saying he was too soft on his wife. Juma began to distance himself from Nola, unsure of how to navigate the tension between his wife and his mother. Nola, who had once been his beloved partner, now seemed like a source of conflict. The emotional toll on Nola was immense. She felt abandoned by the one person she thought would always support her. She started losing weight, her once bright eyes grew dull, and her spirit seemed to diminish day by day. When Nola fell ill from the stress and hard work, Mama Zoe accused her of feigning sickness to avoid her duties. She spread rumors in the village that Nola was lazy and disrespectful, tarnishing her reputation. The once welcoming villagers began to keep their distance, leaving Nola more isolated than ever. Even Juma, influenced by his mother's words, began to believe the worst of his wife. Overwhelmed by the relentless pressure, Nola made a heartbreaking decision. Feeling utterly alone and believing she had no other options, she decided to leave the home. She walked through the village one last time, with her head held low, carrying only a small bundle of her belongings. The weight of her decision was heavy, but she saw no other way to escape the suffering. Nola returned to her grandmother's home, where she collapsed in tears. Her grandmother, shocked to see her in such a state, tried to comfort her, but Nola was inconsolable. The once strong and resilient woman was now a shell of herself. She spent her days in silence, unable to find joy or meaning in life anymore. Her grandmother's heart broke as she watched Nola wither away. Nola's health continued to deteriorate, and despite her grandmother's best efforts, she became weaker by the day. The emotional scars left by the abuse she suffered ran too deep. Nola's heart, once full of hope and love, was now broken beyond repair. One evening, as the sun set over the village, Nola took her last breath, her soul finally free from the pain. The news of Nola's death spread quickly through the village, leaving the community in shock. Mama Zoe and Juma were left to grapple with the consequences of their actions. Juma, realizing too late the depth of Nola's suffering, was consumed with guilt. Mama Zoe, too, felt the weight of her role in Nola's demise, but it was too late for regrets. Nola's story became a cautionary tale in the village, a reminder of the unseen scars that emotional and psychological abuse can leave. Her grandmother, though heartbroken, ensured that Nola's story was told to future generations, hoping it would prevent other young women from suffering the same fate. The village slowly began to change its attitudes, though the cost had been too high. Years passed, and Jumo tried to atone for his failures by helping other women in the village who were struggling with similar issues. He became an advocate for change, speaking out against the mistreatment of women. However, no amount of good deeds could erase the guilt he felt for not protecting Nola. He lived the rest of his life in quiet sorrow, haunted by her memory. Mama Zai, too, spent her remaining years in quiet reflection, trying to make amends by caring for other women in the village. She took in young brides who were struggling to adjust to their new lives, offering them the kindness she had denied Nola. Despite her efforts, she knew that she could never fully atone for what she had done. The story concludes with Mama Zai offering a silent prayer at Nola's grave, seeking forgiveness and peace. She knows that the scars she left on Nola were deep and irreversible, but she hopes that Nola's spirit has found peace, and that her own efforts to change will be seen as a small step toward redemption.